and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and today we have such a super spectacular guest in the building. I'm so honored and thrilled to have him here. He is JP Bergeron. He is a film director, actor, writer, producer, and he originally is from Quebec. But I believe now he lives in the United States. So let's give him a super warm welcome. Hello, JP. Welcome, and how are you?
Well, thanks, AJ. Good to see you. I'm fine. Well, actually, yeah, I'm actually a dual citizen. My dad's from Massachusetts.
Yay.
So I'm an American just like you. I'm also a Canadian.
I love that.
And a lot of my career took place in Quebec, but I also worked in LA as an actor. And this project, Old Guys in Bed, that we're going to discuss, I'm pretty sure, is just a very international thing. So there you go.
Wonderful. Okay, well, speaking of old guys in bed, let me go to the photo. This is, well, first of all, I just want to say you were in The Young and the Restless, which is everybody knows about that, a TV series. And this is a fabulous photo of you. I got it from your IMDb, and you just look so handsome, JP. And was that fun to work on The Young and the Restless?
It was fun. Well, it was rather quick. I was in a couple of episodes, but the there was basically no rehearsals. I mean, just the blocking, but I knew that ahead of time. So I was, fully prepared, and it was like one or two takes, basically. And yes, it was fun. It was exciting.
Great. I love that. Everybody knows that. And also, this picture here, it's a beautiful picture of you. Is that when you were on The Young and the Restless? Is that about the time or?
It's, let's see, that's about year 2000.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an old photo, but it's a cool one.
It's a great one. We love it. We love it. Okay, I'm going to switch the screen to this is Paul James Saunders. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely.
And this is a scene from Old Guys in Bed. And I want to talk about that. Tell us about this, the story, and what a great character and actor, as you can see. Take it away, JP. Tell us about it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Old Guys in Bed is a feature film that's currently in post-production. We're going to be done in late December, early January. It's going to be ready. And it deals with two different things. The first one being that old homosexuals or old gay guys are basically invisible on screen.
Oh.
I mean, there are very, very, very few characters on film and television worldwide who are over 60 or even over 50 and gay. So there's discrimination right there through invisibility.
Yes.
And I'm gay, of course, and I'm 71, and I thought that I would sort of set the record straight, or that I would add to the narrative, because there's a hole here in the narrative.
Yes.
And here comes Old Guys in Bed.
I love the title, JP.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's a fun title, and it's a fun film. It's also drama with a bit of comedy, but I think it's going to be really entertaining. And so the film shows three older LGBTQ guys and a couple of other ones who are a bit younger. And the film also deals with online dating and the consequences of ghosting. And I'm not talking here about a bit of ghosting. Like, sometimes, you chat with somebody, chat, doesn't go anywhere. After a couple of days, he stops texting, or I stop texting. It's no big deal. But a few years ago, just before the pandemic, I was ghosted big time in an international relationship that was going really well. And honestly, the breakup plus the ghosting was so painful. I honestly suffered emotionally more than I had ever suffered, at least in my adult life. When you're a teenager, very often, you go through a lot of stuff, and I don't want to minimize that. But I mean, in my adult life, I'd never experienced such pain. And the saying, if life gives you a lemon, you make lemonade. So I said, okay, here I have 2 + 2 = 4. Show older gay man and talk about the ghosting and what happened to me. So the film is largely autobiographical. I mean, in its essence, it's essentially autobiographical, although the details are not the same very often. And so that's why I wrote Old Guys in Bed, and we finished shooting a few months ago, and now we're in post-production, and I can't wait to show you the film.
I'm super excited to see it. And first of all, I want to apologize. And I know I shouldn't need to say I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that you had to go through that, JP. I feel for you. My heart aches for you. It's never easy, and it's just really sad and painful. And I'm so proud of you as an artist to have the vulnerability to be able to
Well,
talk.
I think that as a community of people who are online, which is a huge community, without pointing the finger, I think that if we ghosted, have ghosted, been ghosted, being ghosted, we should stop that. I mean, it's harder to write a Dear John letter, but it only needs a couple of paragraphs that are decent. And then it just brings some kind of closure. My friends got ghosted in similar circumstances, and I really think it's something that we need to talk about on film and on TV shows.
Yes, absolutely. And do you have humor as well with the dating, online dating? Is there some humor in that area, JP?
Yeah, there's some humor. There's some humor here and there, pretty much till the end. There's a bit of humor here, there, but
Everywhere.
it's basically drama. But will the audience laugh? It's very hard to predict, but I'm sure they're going to smile, quite a few times.
Yes. Oh, this is wonderful. Well, I'm so looking forward to it. Now it's in post-production. Congratulations on this beautiful movie with a very important social message for the world to hear. I love it. They're so dear to my heart, social messages like this, because film has the power to educate and teach and heal in so many ways. And that's what I love cinema and film about. So thank you, JP, for bringing that for us to talk about today. And before I go on any more, I must give a special thank you and acknowledgement to Isabel Drean, a beautiful, beautiful filmmaker. And she is the one who brought us together, JP. So I wanted to say thank you, Isabel. Isn't that right, JP?
Yeah, thanks, Isabel. She's a wonderful lady. She really is. She knows so much stuff. She's also a great teacher. She currently has, teaching thing going on, for lack of a better word, about Christmas movies and screenwriting at large. And, she's just great. So thanks, Isabel.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Isabel. And if you're interested to take any of Isabel's classes, you can, reach out to her on Facebook. You're right. She's doing classes and it's wonderful. She's absolutely lovely. So we love our Isabel. So thank you again. I also want to talk to you about, let's see, let's switch to this next screen here. Alias. This is with Jennifer Garner. Is that right?
Jennifer Garner, yeah.
Wow, she's huge. I love her. She's one of my favorites. Now, this is the TV series Alias. Now, it was super, super popular. How was it working on that set?
Actually, it was great and it was easy. I got to tell you that one thing that was really amazing about Jennifer, she really was like an acting student. So I also teach acting, and so I'm used to having acting students in their 20s or early 20s, that sort of thing. And she she didn't have any attitude. She was just like my students. She was just like, this quote unquote ordinary girl, with a t-shirt and, and we were figuring out, the blocking, etc. And so that was pretty amazing. We also had an intimate scene. There was some intimacy. And that was a very easy process. We were actually blocking with the director, but she was very comfortable. I was very comfortable. And it was just, again, like blocking. Okay, so I'm going to put my hand here. You're going to lift your arm and, that sort of thing. So that was pretty impressive.
Amazing.
But before we dig a bit deeper into Alias and my acting credits, I want to point out that in Old Guys in Bed, there are two other major characters, one played by Duff McDonald. He's the one who gets ghosted. This is Paul James Saunders, the ghoster.
Oh, he's the ghoster.
He's the ghoster, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not going to spoil anymore. Okay, all right. And the main character, played by Duff McDonald, has a niece that he loves very dearly, and she knows all about online dating, unlike her uncle. And she's played by Joan Hart, a wonderful younger actress. She's about in her early 20s, and she's fabulous. And Duff McDonald is a very sensitive actor. So, I had a very strong cast, which is great.
Yes, yes. And so when can we see this, and when will it come out? It's in post-production now. Will it be released in 2024, do you think, JP?
Yeah, it will be released in 2024. I'm currently in talks with some distributors.
Oh, good.
And also I started, talking with a couple of film festivals. So we need to decide, at some point during the first quarter of 2024, that sort of thing. We're going to need to decide where and when is going to be the world premiere. Yeah. Because that's very important. When you're going to be distributing a film, right, where and when the world premiere is just a very important aspect of it.
Absolutely. And speaking of the LGBT community, I wanted to talk a little bit, actually a lot, about how it is today. So could you share with us, is it better today? Is it getting there? Talk to us about what's going on.
It's better for us in the US and Canada because we're so privileged. I mean, not just financially, but these are democracies, at the end of the day. Yeah. And when a minority or when a group of people has a lot of qualms, I mean, they have an ear. We can't say that nobody's listening, at the government level and in the general population. I don't know the number of countries, but I think it's around 50 countries all over the world. Homosexual behavior is actually a crime.
A what?
Which doesn't make any kind of sense.
Oh, over 50?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Wow.
And as far as the US is, as far as we're concerned in the US, well, we're going backwards right now. I think everybody knows that. We're definitely going backwards. There's just a terrible movement in terms of trying to have us lose what we acquired, in terms of rights, in terms of marriage, etc. Mm-hmm. Canada, my other country, is just very liberal. And there is much less conservatism in Canada and in Quebec, which is part of Canada, but which is kind of an entity of its own. Actually, it is, if only for the French language, but for so many reasons. Quebecers, les Québécois are very tolerant. Les Québécois sont très tolérants. It's just a culture of acceptance, and it's just, it's just very welcoming.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So that's my take on it. So we must not forget that in the US and Canada, we have a bit of a distorted vision of gay rights because of what's happening in so many countries.
Mm. Well, this is terrible to hear. I did not know that it was that high. What country you're from or what religion you are, it should be all fair and equal. Don't you agree, JP?
Oh, absolutely, totally. It's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
But some countries outside of the US and Canada have made a lot of progress, mind you, of course, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And one thing that I appreciate as far as the gay community is concerned, as a filmmaker and as an individual, it's an international community by definition.
Yeah.
See, if you're a gay guy my age, you have friends all over the world because, you make friends online, you travel. I mean, because all these people that you meet online or wherever who are of different nationalities, chances are that they had a very similar experience as a child and a teenager, of rejection and hiding and all these things. So, with all due respect for the Jewish community, there's a bit of a parallel here, okay? Because, it's just international and all over the world, which is pretty cool and which is interesting when you're going to distribute a film. Already, on our Facebook page for Old Guys in Bed, we have likes and followers from, I don't know, at least 30 countries.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Pretty amazing.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, trans rights are very important. I mean, they know what they want to do with their body and their identity, and they know better than we do.
Absolutely.
And they're they're the sole owner of their body and their identity, and we got to respect that 100%.
Yes.
Yes,
and also support them in any way we can.
I do have an example that there's still a lot of discrimination in the US and in Canada.
Tell us.
At the end of the day, it's not, I mean, the game is not over.
No.
I have a semi-distant relative who's a friend on Facebook, and that person usually likes a lot of stuff that I post that, about, I don't know, about travel or, whatever, clothes. And I posted quite a few things about Old Guys in Bed. And she didn't like any of the posts.
Oh.
And that tells me something. I mean, I'm 71. It's not like I'm going to cry over it, okay? But I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and someone that I've known since early childhood. So anyway, so that's just to give you an example, because I don't feel victimized. I'm beyond that.
Yes.
But still, that's really microaggression.
Good.
Unless there's something I don't know and that I don't understand that she might explain to me at some point. I don't know.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. And I always say, I'm in it full on. There's no halfway with me. I'm 100%. I adore you and I love you, and there's no other way. That's it, So 100% and all in is where, my heart lies. And I feel that everybody should be that way. I hope they are. And if not, then we just need to help them along so they can be more supportive. That's what I think.
If that can be achieved.
If that can be achieved, right, JP? Well, we're going to try.
Okay.
So what was your very first introduction to film and acting and TV and movies?
When I was 5, I watched television a lot, and I would put on plays, with other kids. And I wanted to be an actor. I also wrote poetry. And I scribbled poems because they were short. So, I could come up with a poem in like 2, 3 minutes. I'm not saying it was a great poem, but I would do these things, and I would also use the tape recorder, and
Yes.
I would actually imitate radio announcers, when they do voiceover commercials and that sort of thing.
Wonderful.
And that's what I do.
Yeah,
That's what I do to this day. And then during my teenage years, I was very involved in the theater. With 4 or 5 very close friends who all of us had a good career afterwards, all of us.
Wasn't
And
that fun?
we didn't know we would, we were just like clueless.
Oh,
Go ahead.
really?
We didn't know. I
Oh,
mean, we were just very passionate about theater,
uh-huh.
and we knew that we had some talent, but leaving our hometown and trying to make it in a bigger city was just it was so huge, for us. It was just like, wow, I thought I was very afraid when I was a young actor. Then I went to drama school, etc. And I also trained at HB Studio in New York City. And for many years, before my training, during my training, and the first couple of years of my career, I thought that I would have a no career. I thought that I would be stuck in very, very minor roles. And, although apparently, I was coming up with some really good work, I thought it would end from one day to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go through that. And then I started believing in myself way more. So
Amazing, amazing. So you had this very humble, down to earth, practical expectation, and then it took off. And did you all three of your friends who had fun in theater, did you all move together to New York?
yeah, pretty much at the same time. And there were
Wow.
5 of us
Oh,
during the same
really?
year, or the same couple of years. Yeah. And like 5 years later, okay, 5 years later, we were all working
Wow.
on television, theater. We were all working. We were all working actors. And we couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah.
So
How exciting and so much fun. That's a movie in itself. 5 friends moved to New York from Canada to, I mean, that's a movie in itself, JP. Your life is a movie, right?
it's an adventure. Yeah,
It's
it
an
is kind of a
adventure.
movie.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, JP.
Well, I just want to say that becoming a writer was oh my God, that was quite a process. Because, see, when I was a younger actor, I was in the closet. I mean, not within the industry, people knew, and my friends, but I was, there was no question that I would come out to the media. It was totally off the table. And whenever I wanted to write something, it was always about gay people.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't write, because
Oh.
writing about gay people all the time, unless you're John Irving, people assume that you're homosexual, and I didn't want that. So I at some point when I was about 60, I said, JP, there's a lot of things you can do. You can fool yourself, sometimes you can fool a couple of people. I mean, we've all done that. But one thing that you cannot do is not right.
Yes, that's right.
Whatever the consequences are going to be.
Yes.
And when your first film is going to come out, which is Alone with Mr. Carter, you're going to come out to the media. And it's been a great experience. My coming out was just like, it was really a renaissance, of sorts.
Yes, I'm so proud of you, JP.
But thank you.
I'm so proud of you because you're perfect just as you are, and we love you, and no matter what. And that's the real essence of pure and true friendship and love. And that's what this world needs. And so I'm so proud of you. And speaking of Alone with Mr. Carter, which is what you wrote, produced, did you act in it as well?
No, I don't act in the films that I write and direct because
Too
it's
much?
really an auteur kind of thing, you know, not
Okay.
an actor kind of thing for me. Yeah, Alone with Mr. Carter was my first film. It's a short film. It was very successful worldwide. We still have sales, you know,
Yeah.
from different countries, which is great. And it's about a 10-year-old boy who secretly loves an elderly neighbor. And the elderly neighbor now is going away forever because he's
Oh.
evicted, he's out of money. And the little boy has a very limited period of time to, you know, muster the courage of telling him, I love you. And,
Oh.
and that's the premise.
How sweet. And there's a picture we have on screen of
Yeah.
the young boy and then Mr. Carter. And does this young boy have any family, or does he also look to Mr. Carter as family as well, JP?
Yes, because he's very neglected. His parents are basically drug addicts,
Oh,
and he's just very, you know, he's just very neglected. And it's a rather you know, it's an area where people are financially challenged quite a bit,
hmm.
and the old guy, for lack of a better expression, Mr. Carter has a very sexy and wonderful 35-year-old girlfriend, and she's a Latina, and you know she knows how to make waves. I hope I'm not insulting anybody here.
Not at all. Not at all.
and 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 anyway, and the kid anyway, and I don't want to spoil the rest of the story, but you know, it's something that I'm really proud of, and that still gathers attention.
This is wonderful, and it sounds so great. I can't wait to see it. Where can we see it, JP?
Alone with Mr. Carter, yeah, it's currently on Amazon.
Okay, so everyone check out Alone with Mr. Carter on Amazon. Now, in 2022, from the Honoris Festival, you've won several awards. You're an award-winning filmmaker. You won Best Supporting Actor for Le Purgatorio de Intimes. We're going to check that out in a moment. But you also won Best Short Film Award for Alone with Mr. Carter.
I won Alone with Mr. Carter, won Best Short Film at Fantasia Film Festival.
Oh, Fantasia.
Uh,
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah. So I don't think we won at Merlincum,
Oh,
but
okay.
we certainly won at Fantasia,
Oh, okay.
which
Fantasia.
was, you know,
Please
very
forgive me.
encouraging. And
Please
as
forgive.
far as
Yeah.
purgatory,
Yes.
purgatory,
Right
go
here.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Yes. No. Please forgive me. It was you were nominated then for the Merlinka. Please forgive me on that. You're absolutely correct and right. So for the Merlinka Festival, I believe you might have been nominated for Best Short Film Award, and that's a wonderful recognition in itself. And then, as you said, please forgive me, Le Purgatoire de Intime, you've got a Best Supporting Actor for that from the Oniros Festival. Is that right? JP?
Honor Ross, yeah, the Honor Ross Festival in New York City.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, the English title of is Purgatory. It's just Purgatory,
Oh,
and
is
it's a
it?
very cool
Okay.
film. Yeah, and yes, I won Best Supporting Actor in New York City. You know,
Oh,
the city where I trained as an actor. You
yes.
know,
How did
so
that
it's
feel?
things came kind of, you know, it came full
Full
circle
circle.
to a
Yes.
degree. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, I felt great. I really, you know, I thought it was a significant achievement in my journey.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
wonderful. And then you've also been nominated for Best Performance for, excuse me, Prom Queen, the Mark Hall story. And I'm going to go there to the next screen. And we have these great posters, Prom Queen. I love this story and I want everyone to check it out. I think it's on Amazon. Is that right too, JP?
Possibly, but as I didn't produce it, I'm not really sure where you can find it. But just Googling prom queen and, you know, film, well, you just need to
Yes,
follow the
yes.
breadcrumbs.
Yes, and this is I love this because this is about a very Is he Jewish or Catholic? His family in the story.
Catholic. Yeah,
Catholic.
it's a very yeah, it's a Catholic family. Yeah.
Catholic family, and then but he wants to bring his boyfriend, his partner, to the prom, and so the story unfolds from there. And again, this is about understanding and family. What does family mean to you? Well, family is who we love, and that's what's most important, isn't that right, JP?
Absolutely. And if I may, I want to tell you a couple of words about how I felt during the shoot of Prom Queen. See,
Yes.
we shot in Toronto, and in Toronto, basically, the Toronto industry didn't know that I was gay. And so I was closeted during that shoot. I didn't want anybody to be, anyway, my thinking was just very different than what it is today. And I was closeted. And I played the hetero father of this young man. Okay. And that helped me decide to come out, because I was faced with the following, and I said, JP, come on. This is a gay film, for lack of a better word. It's all
Yeah.
about acceptance.
Great.
You play the hetero father, and now who ends up being very pro his kid and pro gay, and now you're closeted. Something doesn't make sense here. And that's when I started having a stronger conversation with myself about coming out.
Amazing.
And I ended up coming out.
Amazing. So this was a catalyst. This movie Prom Queen was really helpful in helping you to, be free, right? And
Right. And it was also the beginning of my love story with Palm Springs.
was it?
Yeah, because I have a home in Palm Springs. I have another one in Montreal. And the film screened at the Palm Springs International Film Festival. And I think they called it the Gala. And the audience was full of gay guys.
Cute.
And they loved the film. They liked the father. They thought the dad was doing a really good job,
Yes.
And I realized that Palm Springs was the perfect environment for my future.
Yeah.
So I stopped going to auditions in LA. I had worked in LA, as I said, and I decided to focus on my own projects. And at the time, it included acting in my projects, not anymore. But all this to say, that was the beginning of my love story with Palm Springs, because pretty much everything that I love is in Palm Springs. It's an older community. I've always been attracted to older men. It's a very strong gay community. Yeah. There's a lot of mid-century modern. There's a lot of retro stuff. It's a small town, so people are very nice to each other overall.
I love that.
And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I said, well, you got to be in Palm Springs. So I left LA and I moved to Palm Springs.
Wonderful. And don't they have good dinner theaters or theaters and restaurants there as well?
Well, there are fabulous restaurants across the board. And there is some local theaters. Some is equity, some is not equity. There's the Palm Canyon Theater, who does pretty much, musicals. Mm-hmm. And there are some other venues. And there is a theater community in the desert that I'm not part of, because my focus is really film and television.
Yes.
But there are also associations of filmmakers or film people, who live in the desert, and
definitely,
that's
and
where I belong more directly.
Definitely. And also, JP, I heard that Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. would be, they would frequent Palm Springs a lot. Marilyn Monroe, the Rat Pack, all of them, right?
Right. Well, Sinatra actually had a house in Palm Springs. And I've actually been at a party once or twice that was taking place in one of his houses. I mean, obviously, the gentleman had passed away and it went to other hands. But the Palm Springs International Film Festival sometimes has parties there, and it's just an incredible feeling. Hey, it's Frank Sinatra's house. Come on.
Yeah. Fabulous.
And when you go to restaurants, to some restaurants, some old restaurants in Palm Springs, or some old venues, I think like Oscars, for instance. No,
Ooh.
I'm mistaken. Some other venue. You see black and white photos of the owner shaking hands with Sinatra, shaking hands with Dean Martin, etc.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that. Don't you love that?
I absolutely love that. And I always listen to the radio in my car. And I, like a lot of people in the desert, I tune in to the retro
Me too.
radio station, which plays Sinatra, et cetera, et cetera. It's like living in a whole Sinatra,
I love that.
you know,
I love it. Yeah,
atmosphere.
I love it so much. I love all of that, the Rat Pack and everything. My dad did too. And I've had Dean Martin's daughter, Dina Martin, on my show. I interviewed her. I mean, she's
Oh,
so fabulous. She's my favorite singer, and I just love her to the moon and back. So I get you. I love all of that vintage Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. stuff. I just drink that up, don't you, JP?
oh, absolutely. That's what I listen to all the time. And the big bands, and I'm very retro.
Me too. I love that. I love that. I love retro. Speaking of your film and TV career, what do you prefer? Do you prefer TV, or do you prefer film, or a both, mixture of both?
Well, let's see. We just shot The Last Communion, which is a Canadian series. I
Yeah.
don't know when it's going to drop in the US, but it's a very kick-ass kind of series about three older Catholic brothers, like the Sacred Heart or something. They all defrock at the same time at age 70 or 65, and it's going to be a really good show. Well, nowadays a lot of TV is very much like film. Uh, yeah, and some people think that it's going to be more and more about series because the streamers, they like series because there's a comeback factor. People
Mhm.
come back to the series, and basically a feature film is excuse my French, but a one night stand.
I love it.
Series are a relationship. So the I actually was thinking about creating a TV show at some point, but as hard as it is to get a feature film off the ground, I find that it's 5 times harder to create a series in terms of the financing and in all aspects. So I guess my preference is film or series that are pretty much like films.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. That's a wonderful answer. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
And good points, JP, because they're very similar now. It used to be very separate, didn't it? And now it's actors and actresses can go either way, anywhere, right? Theater,
Uh, there's no stigma.
there's no stigma.
If people do film, they can do TV, et cetera, et cetera. Sitcoms and soap operas are genres of their own. Those are the way they were pretty much. But
Yes.
all the rest is very often like film, I find.
Amazing, amazing. And JP, there's another movie poster we have on screen. It's a Speed Zone, Life Begins Above 55. And there's some blockbuster superstars in here like Brooke Shields, the Smothers Brothers, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, Tim Matheson, John Candy, wow, Melody Anderson, Peter Boyle. How was that working on that? Was that a fun set what did you do? What did you play?
It was fun. It was a bit of a strange experience, but it was fun. It was a strange experience because I guess I was booked for, I don't know, 10 hours, and I ended up being there like 23 hours or something. So I made a lot of extra money.
That's great. That's great. See, they loved you. See, that's usually how it happens. is I've heard stories like that before where an actor is so appreciated and that it's just extended because it's so great, or their role is extended, or they get different separate additional parts or that kind of thing. So that's really wonderful. So what is that about? It's about cops, right?
Okay.
And
Okay, all right. Uh, it's Speed Zone is really about, motorcycles and airplanes and etc. Now, Speed Zone, okay,
okay.
it's a long time ago. I'm not really sure that I remember all aspects of the storyline, but the I had one scene and I played a French guy, and there was a malentendu. There was a play on words. Oh my God. I played a French guy who, by his behavior, could very well have been gay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a four-letter word now, if you don't mind.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
I was with the Smother Brothers, and Brooke Shields was the flight attendant. And my lines would be like, I had peanuts, a bag of peanuts, and I would tell the Smother Brothers, would you like my penis? And I kept going. Would you like my penis?
Hilarious.
Yeah, and well, it's not really a four-letter word. It's not actually. And so I mean it was a fun scene. It was really a fun scene
Great, really
because
great. Really fun. And that was 1989. And I think if people search for it, they can check it out, because who doesn't love a fun comedy as well? And that's just so hilarious. And so you got to work with them, and that, famous names. So that's really, really wonderful, JP. And then I've also switched to the next screen, which is Evil Words and Trauma. Now, Evil Words was a film, and it grossed $2 million. And that was wonderful for that time. Very, very successful. Tell us what it's about and where people can watch it.
okay. So let's say
So let's
here's
say,
what I remember of the storyline. It's really about the world being taken over by the devil. And I played a priest. Okay, that was my second priest, I think. Okay, so I played a priest, and my community, and I was realizing that my community was starting to be possessed,
oh,
and that was a terrible thing for me, for my parish, and I tried to turn things around, but I was not able to, because at the end of the day, the devil won.
oh, wow.
So that was my storyline within that film, and
Mhm.
I have very good memories of it. It's a performance that I'm really proud of. It's very non-cliche, it's a very plausible priest, but maybe not the way you think a
Mhm.
priest usually is. And yeah, and Trauma. What a fun show, a Canadian show. I played a orthopedist.
Oh, that's
I
great.
I played an old orthopedist who was still at the hospital because he had no other place to go. He was a drunk. He was either a widower or divorced,
Mhm.
and he had tons of money,
Oh,
but he had a lot of fun. He was a very, how can I say this? He was the black sheep, but he was an
oh.
excellent doctor. So he would make all sorts of remarks that were funny for the audience, but that were terrible to hear, for
Mhm.
his patients and colleagues. And but at the end of the day, not only was he a really great doctor, he was also a good guy. His heart was in the right place, and yeah, so
That's
Trauma.
wonderful. That is wonderful. And that was filmed Trauma in Canada, right, JP?
That is correct. Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and where was Evil Words filmed. Was that filmed in Quebec, Canada?
That was filmed in Quebec.
Oh,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
And I love the poster. And we're always fascinated with good versus evil. And of course, I always want good to win, right? So we all want good to win. So that should be an exciting film to check out. I encourage everybody to do that as well. And yeah, so this has been so much fun. I'm sorry, we're going to have to start wrapping it up, but I have one more question for you, JP, and then we're going to do our heart messages and any shout outs that you want to do. What is your dream role? What is your dream? I know you have some great projects coming up, like The Last Communion and Old Guys in Bed. Oh, and we do want to talk about ageism. I have a question about ageism I want to ask you about. But what is your dream role first?
Well, you know what? It's kind of a coincidence because I just shot The Last Communion, and that was a dream role. And I hope we're going to have more seasons because it's a very complex character. He's defrocked, but he's going through so much stuff, And again, he's a black sheep within, he used to be a black sheep, in the community.
I can relate to that. I relate to that.
And that, he's on a great adventure, and I had the opportunity of trying to put a lot of my heart into it, and I hope it's going to read on cam. I think so. I'm very hopeful about it. And as far as ageism,
Yes, I wanted to ask you about ageism and your thoughts on it, and how is it in today's world? Because I just want to say, just before that, for me, my career has really taken off. I'm 56 and I'm the happiest now with how my career is going. In fact, I struggled so much when I was in my 20s and 30s, trying to find my place in the world. And now, over 50, I feel opportunities have opened up. So I'm very thankful and grateful, especially to the people I work with. How about you, JP?
well, let's see. Let's start with the acting. Well, there are fewer roles. Starting at age 65 for men, there are fewer roles. But I knew that, so it's not like I'm having a nervous breakdown about it. I don't expect to work as an actor very often. In my 70s and 80s, I cross my fingers about about longevity. But when there's a really good project like The Last Communion, Purgatory,
Purgatory, yes.
in which I played a very good guy, I have to say. I just play the role, as passionately as I can. On stage, if I were to come back on stage, which I haven't done in 20 some years, I'd like to play Willie Loman because he's very much like my father, in the come on, JP, in Death of a Salesman.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that at some point, but right now I have no time. I'm very busy with my film and my film projects, but it's something that I'd like to do somewhere along the line. I retired from the stage in 1995 because I felt that I'd done what I wanted to do, but I'd like to play that role. As far as ageism, well, it's systemic. It is systemic.
It's wrong, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's wrong.
It's so wrong.
Yeah.
It's systemic, and it's absolutely wrong. I mean, as I said, for starters, on screen, we rarely see older characters, and let alone older gay characters or lesbian.
Right.
And ageism, you know what? Ageism is certainly a big problem because I came out as a as a 71-year-old just recently. I didn't share my age very often, never on social. for many years because I was afraid that I would lose stuff.
Mm.
Um,
Oh.
and I think we don't have enough. I mean, for those among us who are less privileged, there's not enough social programs, I find,
Yes.
for older people.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer that healthcare should be pretty much universal,
Yeah.
pretty much, and that Medicare premiums and Medicare costs and should be lower. Social Security should be higher. Anyway, I'm all for those social programs. But I really think ageism is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge topic. That might be another conversation, to tell
Yeah.
you the truth, because it's huge.
It is. I did want to mention, I wish that America would take more of a philosophy of how they have in Japan, how they respect their seniors and senior citizens and those who are older, who are much wiser. And I think we can learn from other cultures, such as Japan and any other. I think in the Native American culture also, they value their the stories and their ancestors and those who have come before us. And I really want that to go back to the old ways. I hope that America starts to recognize and take on some of those ways of philosophy and lifestyle ways. So, because I'm getting older too, JP, and I want to remain active when I get older. I want to live to 100. And like you, you're gonna live to 100. That's what I'm gonna say it right here on the show. Okay, you're gonna live to
Okay, it's an
100.
affirmation. Cool.
Okay, so because everybody's living longer, right? We need this change. So what are your thoughts on that, JP? Do you agree?
Oh yeah, totally agree. I mean, we need those changes. Absolutely. I'm going to be working till age 90.
Yay!
That's what I have in mind. It's
Yes,
oh, I don't want to brag about it because so many people are dead already in my age group, but I'm very healthy
great.
and I intend to take even better care of myself, in the next 20 years.
Wonderful. I'm
Um,
so proud of you, and I'm gonna do the same, JP, okay?
yep, right
Right
on.
on. That's wonderful. Well, I love that we talked about that, and it's so important. So, everyone, I do want to ask everyone out there, if you encounter anything with ageism, please support those, us like me, who are getting older, and also your people who are older than us as well. Please respect them and treat them with love and admiration and honor and just tremendous love. And that's my heart message for this week. And what's your heart message, JP?
My heart message is world peace. I'm not sure I'm comfortable in deep diving into this right now because I'm reflecting a lot on what's going on in the world in at least two different countries. But to sum it up, I really hope we're going to get to world peace at some point and as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, those nuclear things, I do understand that we're just defending ourselves. I totally get that. But speaking in general, it would be so great if all countries disarmed. It would be so wonderful. So you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only.
I'm with you
Yeah.
too. I'm with you
Yeah, I
too.
mean, I'm kind of joking, probably because it's such a tragedy, and that might be a nervous reaction. But yes,
Our
world
heart,
peace.
yes, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, and our wishes are for world peace. I join you with that. What a beautiful heart message, JP. Thank you for that. And That's all we want. We want world peace and more love in the world. That's what is needed. And real love, not the fake love, but the real, genuine, authentic love of, from our hearts, and living authentically and who we are, and loving each other and ourselves. So thank you so much, JP, for that. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or acknowledge or say?
Well, Isabel Drean,
Hi, Isabel. Yes.
who connected us.
How are
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. Thanks, Isabel. Thank you so much. And Isabel has some big projects coming up. I'm not going to reveal anything, but she's doing good.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
It's just been wonderful speaking with you, and
thank
I
you
hope we'll
so
do it
much.
again.
Yes, you're so welcome. I'd love to have you back again. You've been absolutely wonderful, JP. Thank you so much. And you're just an absolute beautiful guest in all ways, in every way, on every level. And you're just amazing, amazing film director, actor. And you're so great, you could write a book. I just want to tell you that, JP. So if you ever think about writing in your journal and making it a book, your diary, I'm sure it would sell, because you're just absolutely fabulous. You're a treasure on this planet, and we love you. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Maybe you want to talk to one of my ex-boyfriends. I mean, they don't necessarily think I'm a treasure, but I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much. Thanks again for having me. Thanks for your appreciation, and I keep you in my heart.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to keep you in my heart. We'll keep you in our hearts as well, JP. Thank you. And until next time, until we meet again, JP, au revoir.
Okay, au revoir.